Hey everyone, I'm Steven with Scenes in Nature. And today I'm going to show you how to add the ice shards to this duck base. Now, to be able to see how we got to this point, be sure to check out the first video. But today we're just going to move forward, filling this water cavity. And so the first thing that I did off camera was I used our water resin and I actually poured it into a sheet with some wax paper. And I just poured it really thin, and this is what I used to make my ice shards. And I actually added a little bit of blue tint to it. And you can see that wax paper allows it to peel off, and then I have a thin little sheet. And so then from there, I just threw some gloves on, safety glasses, went to a vise, and I just busted it into a bunch of little pieces. And so now I've got all these pieces that we're gonna use to actually make the ice shards. You'll notice some of these have a curve to them, and so I'm gonna kind of match the this cavity with the shape of it. And so I'm just gonna kind of lay some of these out. Kind of figure out where they go. That way, whenever I start gluing them in, it kind of takes some of the guesswork out. And I want to leave kind of an opening here, and so I'm not going to fill the whole thing up. I think something like that will get me started. So now I'm just going to go ahead and use my safety glasses since I'm using that UV light, and we'll kind of get these placed in here. And one thing that's so awesome with this UV resin is it's going to turn clear. You're not going to be able to see it, and it's going to adhere all this together. And then when we pour our water resin over top of it, it's just gonna make it disappear. And as you can see, it's just holding it up there. It's gonna be perfect for our adhesive. And you can see it really doesn't take much of that UV resin to be able to hold these ice shards. And so now, to be able to make some more depth, I'm gonna kind of play around with this real quick and figure out where I want these to go. So I'm thinking this one might look really good up in here. So I'm just gonna kind of set that there, and then we'll glue it to this edge. I think that'll look good. You know, and then I'm thinking maybe something that's just on the bottom almost, as if it's like kind of stuck down there, and leave it on the bottom. And then maybe try to get another one that is suspended a little bit lower off of the wall. Something like right in here maybe. I think something like this is about what we're gonna do. So we'll go ahead and glue those 3 pieces on, and then we'll see what that looks like. So this one really is easy to do. We're just gonna take and just add a little bit of our UV resin. And then just kind of move it to where it's just slightly off of it. And just go ahead and hit that. Doesn't take much. And I think I'm good, so we're gonna move on to mixing our water resin. I went ahead and marked it out on a cup. I'm gonna mix up 12 ounces, and so I'm gonna use the water base and just pour it up to this line on the cup, and then I'll put my activator in there, then we'll add some tint. And there's a video that you can watch this in a little more detail, but we're gonna kind of breeze through it today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add a couple drops of tint. 4, 5. Make sure we scrape the edges, get all that off there. Get that color consistent all the way top to bottom. All right, so all I'm going to do when it comes to pouring it, I am going to turn this just a little bit so the stick is out of my way. But I'm going to pour it nice and slow down in the cavity. And I'm not going to try to pour it directly on top of my ice the best that I can. And that's why I want to get this stick turned just a little bit. And so now we're just going to go ahead and pour this in there. Now in this case here, I'm getting one that I must have just gotten a lot higher than the others. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is just going ahead and stopping here, let this set up, and I'll just break this one off right here because it's not down in the water yet. But if I keep going, I'm going to submerge everything so much that I won't be able to see it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. I'm going to let this cure out, and I'm just going to break this one right back off. That's one thing that's so nice about this UV resin. It's really easy to get back off if you need to. And so we're just going to kind of leave it like this. And we're going to let this cure overnight, at least 24 hours. I may even wait 48 hours, just make sure this is nice and cured. And then we'll come back and we'll finish up with some more snow. Take this off, finish up with some snow, and call this a done base. All right guys, so it's been a couple days and I'm ready to move on and finish this up. I'm gonna get this busted off of here. Nothing too crazy to be able to do that. And so we'll go ahead and just kind of start sprinkling this in here. This is gonna fill any of those gaps. Also give me just kind of a little bit of a snowy look on the edge of the ice. That's really just this easy. Now, one thing here you'll notice I have this little shelf for that next layer. Well, there would have been some snow that'd be able to sit on there. So I'm just gonna add that on there. Keep kind of working this thing around. And with using a dry paintbrush, so nothing on it, I'm able to kind of manipulate this snow just a little bit, make sure it's where I want it. And I am gonna leave the water open where there's not snow, so it looks like that the snowflake is just kind of set on top of the ice. And so if there's some that kind of fell down to where the water's at, I can use this brush and kind of move it around as well. Just get it nice and cleaned up exactly the way I want it before I start gluing everything down. All right, and I think that looks pretty good. And so be sure with your Habitat adhesive, you always shake it up. And then I'm just gonna gently squeeze this and just kind of glue this down in place. Like that there. And then after I do that, I like to, because it kind of flattens it out a little bit, I like to go ahead and come back in with just a little bit more and sprinkle it right on top of that. I want to keep my snow nice and fluffy. And again, this is going to dry to a clear matte finish. And so you really don't have to worry about it if it gets somewhere you don't want it a whole lot. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit on here, not a whole lot, and I'm going to use the snow dust for that. And so all I'm going to do is just kind of take this and just gently spray up here. And then I'm just going to use just a little bit of that snow dust, just kind of sprinkle it in so it looks like just a little bit landed on there. It doesn't take hardly anything to glue it down. Just light sprinkling of snow, light dusting. I'm just going to go ahead and take just a little bit more of my snow dust, and I'm just going to kind of sprinkle that on this rim here, kind of blend these two together a little bit more. And I really think that looks pretty good. So now I'm just gonna let this dry, clean up this little water area here because I want it to look like it's an open water area, and so I don't want snow sitting on the surface. And of course with our products, it really is this quick and easy to be able to create a realistic looking habitat. And so if you would, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And of course, for more product knowledge and other how-to videos, go to scenesinnature.com. Thanks so much for watching.